Night of the Living Dead, the original, is a seminal film. It single-handedly created the zombie subgenre, and every piece of zombie fiction produced since owes that film and the Pittsburgh crew who made it, including the late great George Romero, an enormous debt. In the late 80s, original Night co-writer John A. Russo and producer-actor Russell Striner began to develop a remake. Now, whether they felt a remake was truly necessary or because they thought they could somehow regain the rights to the original, well, it isn't really up for debate. They wanted those rights back, and I don't blame them. Can you imagine the fortune that they lost out on because that film went into public domain right after it was released? 10 cents of every dollar The Walking Dead has ever made should go directly into their pockets. George Romero wrote the screenplay for the remake, Menachem Golan financed it, and Tom Savini was handpicked by Romero himself to direct. In October of 1990, the film was released, and then immediately disappeared from theaters. I first saw the movie on late-night cable television as a kid. Now, by this point, I'd already seen the original at least a couple of times, and despite there being some familiar faces in the cast, it being in color, and the zombie makeups and other special effects being a vast improvement, I remember thinking, what's the point? It's just the same movie, only not nearly as good, but in color and with better effects. But because the movie was constantly on cable television when I was growing up, I ended up watching it pretty much whenever I saw it was on. Eventually, I grew to like the movie, so when I saw that Sony was releasing a 4K Steelbook which included the uncensored cut, I couldn't pre-order quick enough. And luckily I did, because this thing sold out fast. If you slept on this release at all, you likely missed out. I don't recall any of the listings I saw noting that it was limited in any way, and why should it be? It's not like this is a boutique release. This is from a major studio. But alas, it was limited, and unfortunately, a lot of people missed out on picking it up. So in the future, Sony or any other major studio, if you're gonna do a limited release, let us know, and let us know just how limited it is. Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead has a lot going for it. First and foremost, the cast is stellar. The late great Tony Todd plays Ben, and he acts his tail off in this movie. If I'm not mistaken, this was Tony Todd's first horror movie, and talk about a debut. Outside of horror fandom, I don't think Tony Todd gets the praise that he deserves. He was an excellent actor. He had such presence on screen, a great voice, and so much charisma. I love the arc of Barbara in the remake, and Patricia Tallman's performance is so good. Opposite Tony Todd, a lesser actress would have just disappeared into the background. But not Tallman. Barbara starts out similar to Barbara in the OG, but then breaks bad in a big way. Sure, she loses her mind, but who wouldn't in that situation? What she gains in return is strength, determination, and grit. Other familiar faces like Bill Moseley, who plays Johnny, Tom Towles, and William Butler co-star. And what a career William Butler has had. He's been killed by Leatherface, Jason Voorhees. I know he died in an episode of Freddy's Nightmares, but I don't remember if Freddy killed him or not. And he dies here too. The zombies don't kill him. Poor decision-making is what gets him killed. The zombies eat him afterwards, though. What a resume. Savini's film also has more of an edge, particularly when it comes to Tom Towles' performance as Harry. Harry here is not a very nice guy. He abuses his wife, and he's just an all-around jerk. There's far more of a sense of urgency here, too. You can feel the anxiety, the sense of doom, and the frayed nerves in every character throughout. The zombie makeup effects are terrific here. I love the milky white eyes and whatever they used, either makeup or prosthetics to create the corpse-like visages. It's not bulky or like spongy looking, which allowed the zombie performers to emote clearly. The morgue zombie, Uncle Reach, Mr. Magruder, and the cemetery zombie from the beginning are all standout designs. The story here sticks pretty close to the original, with some swerves thrown at us mostly in the beginning and at the end. Savini famously said that only about 30% of his original vision for the film made it to screen. However, he's upped that percentage to 70% with the uncensored cut that's included here. The movie was plagued by production problems, time and money were tight. Savini was going through a messy divorce and custody battle at the time. And from what I've heard about the movie and from what I learned from watching the extras on this release, it sounds like, on one hand, Savini may have had too ambitious a vision for the movie, while on the other hand, Romero didn't want Savini steering too far away from his own vision for the remake or do anything that might tarnish his original. So a lot of the things that Savini wanted to do were either shot down by Romero or shot down by the producers due to time constraints. The remake doesn't capture the same lightning in a bottle the original did, but it captures its own bleak, apocalyptic lightning that has kept me coming back to it for all these years. Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead doesn't hold a candle to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. However, it's good enough to hold its own candle, I think. Now, when it comes to this new 4K Steelbook, one of the big selling points for me was the restored uncensored version of the film, which is the version of the film I watched for this review. The only major differences that I noticed were a few extra seconds of bloodshed when it comes to the headshots that the zombies receive. Also, when Barbara is beating the Uncle Reege zombie with the poker, she gets it stuck in his head and wiggles it around a little bit before she can pull it out. There is a great exploding head gag, though, in which a zombie takes a shotgun blast at relatively close range to the head. And that head explodes quite nicely. And those shots are inserted into the film seamlessly. The biggest difference is that the movie opens in black and white, as Savini wanted to do an homage to the original. So the Columbia logo and most of the opening credits are in black and white, and then it transitions to color when Barbara and Johnny are attacked by the zombie in the cemetery. It's not that big a thing in my opinion, and the transition from black and white to color does look a little clumsy, but it's cool to see how Savini had intended for the movie to begin. The Steelbook features the original poster art for the film on the cover. Kudos for sticking with the original art, by the way, which is beautiful. On the reverse of the Steelbook, we have this image of the mother zombie. That's the exact same look I make when I'm reaching over to hit the snooze button in the morning. Here's the discs. One is a 4K, the other is a standard Blu-ray. Behind the discs, we have these images with the words, "There is a fate worse than death." Very nice. When it comes to 4K picture quality, this is easily the best the movie has ever looked. The 4K ups the contrast, which reveals a lot of the detail, and we get some nice deep shadows as well. I always remember the movie looking a little too anemic, a little too washed out on TV, DVD, and Blu-ray. This 4K brings the color back. It brings the blood back, you could say, in more ways than one. There's plenty of detail, skin tones look natural, the color grading is a vast improvement, which makes the zombie makeups and the other special effects look all the more spectacular. When it comes to audio, we get a Dolby Atmos 5.1 and a DTS HD Master Audio 2.0 on the uncensored cut. On the theatrical cut, we only get the 2.0 track. I listened with the Atmos track enabled and thought the movie sounded clear, detailed, immersive, and at times pretty boomy, putting my subwoofer to work. Overall, I'd give both the picture quality and the sound quality on this release perfect scores, 5 out of 5. When it comes to extras, this sucker is loaded. First up, we have Savini's Night with Tom Savini. It's 27 minutes and 54 seconds in length. Mr. Savini discusses Romero approaching him to direct the Night remake, his desire to give Barbara a more significant presence in the film, prepping for months, doing extensive storyboarding, casting, wanting to start the movie in black and white and then transition to color. He dispels the rumor that Romero replaced him at some point during production and directed the remainder of the film. He explains why making the movie was one of the most horrible experiences of his life, partially in part to being in the middle of a divorce and custody battle at the time, clashing with producers over time, and because of that, he was unable to make the movie he wanted to make. He goes on to say that he initially hated the movie, but has warmed to it over the years. Next, we have Being Barbara with Patricia Tallman. It's 16 minutes and 27 seconds in length. Ms. Tallman discusses how much she loved the reimagining of Barbara in the remake, the shooting locations or location, the farmhouse, working with Bill Moseley, Tony Todd, and Tom Towles, how great Tom Savini was as a director, George Romero being on set, how proud she is of the movie and her work in it, and more. Next, we have Oh Brother with Bill Moseley. It's 11 minutes and 51 seconds in length. Mr. Moseley discusses hitting it off with Tom Savini and his crew on Chainsaw 2, Savini asking him to play Johnny, channeling Boris Karloff for his performance, improvising a lot of Johnny's dialogue, how much he loved working with Savini, and more. Next, we have Return of the Living Dead with makeup effects supervisors John Volich and Everett Burrell. It's 21 minutes in length. They discuss prepping for a month in order to develop zombies that looked unique, going to the morgue to do research. They discuss some of their favorite makeups in the movie, how they pulled off the bullet hits, and more. Next, we have Time with Tom with William Butler. It's 15 minutes and 56 seconds in length. Mr. Butler discusses getting cast as Tom in the Night remake, the tremendous responsibility of remaking a movie as influential as Night of the Living Dead, being intimidated by Tom Savini. After years of being a fan and how great a director he was, he discusses working with Tony Todd, Patricia Tallman, and Tom Towles, the makeup effects, how fun the set was, how honored he is to have been in the film, and more. Next, we have Flesh and Blood with McKee Anderson and Heather Mazar. It's 23 minutes and 51 seconds in length. They both discuss auditioning and getting cast in the movie, working with Tom Savini, Tom Towles, and Patricia Tallman. They discuss shooting in the farmhouse, their favorite scenes, their characters' deaths, and more. Next, we have In Living Dead Color with John A. Russo and Russell Streiner. It's 18 minutes and 8 seconds in length. They discuss developing the remake as a way to regain the rights to the original film, getting the remake set up at Menachem Golan's new company, the changes Romero made to the story. They discuss how intense the shoot was, butting heads with Romero, butting heads with the financiers, Columbia fumbling the marketing of the film, and more. Next, we have Cutting the Dead with editor Tom Dubinsky. It's 19 minutes and 57 seconds in length. Mr. Dubinsky discusses getting the gig to edit the film, editing the movie while they were shooting it, Romero's influence over the editing process, edits made to appease the MPAA, the fandom for the film, and more. Next, we have The Dead Speak with zombie performers Greg Funk and Dirk Ashton. It's 16 minutes and 41 seconds in length. That was my chair squeaking, not a fart. They discuss getting cast as zombies in the movie, the makeups used to zombify them, how fun Tom Savini was to work with, the stunts, Romero's presence on the set, how proud they are of the movie, and more. Next, we have The Dead Walk, an archival making-of featurette with interviews with Tom Savini, Patricia Tallman, John Volich, Russell Streiner, and John A. Russo. It's 24 minutes and 32 seconds in length. We get the theatrical trailer, and we get a Tom Savini commentary moderated by Michael Felsher on the uncensored cut. I watched the uncensored cut with the commentary after I watched the uncensored cut sans commentary. And very insightful, informative, and entertaining commentary with Mr. Savini and Mr. Felsher. This is hands down the definitive release for Night of the Living Dead 90. It's just a shame that more people weren't able to get their hands on this. Don't go out there and pay 3 times the price to a seller on eBay. Instead, tag, tweet at, email Sony and demand a reissue. Demand nicely, though. Let me know your thoughts on Night of the Living Dead 90 down in the comments section below. How do you think it stacks up against the original Night of the Living Dead? And let me know if you were able to pick one of these up before they sold out. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.